The lad from Birmingham.
Well, we really shouldn't be having a fourth round, but we are having one, and Khalid Syed is leading by 28 points to 10. The little fellow in blue, just 17 years of age. He was born in June of this year. Can you believe it? What a tender age. Referee Jack Goodwin having a little bit of a look at his headgear. Seems to be fine. On they go. Butler, the apprentice joiner, who had a terrific semi-final when he... I should say he should have had a terrific semi-final, but James Pell, the defending champion, had to pull out because of a bicep injury. That would have been a terrific semi-final. And Pell, I think, and Syed would have been a great final, but Butler has given everything. Maybe not surprisingly, Syed has just taken the foot off the pedal a wee bit, Richie.
Yeah, he's just waiting for Butler to actually come in, but Butler's having a little look this round. He's a little bit hesitant. He's got to start closing the gap, but he's walking onto shots left, right and centre.
Well, 30 points the gap now, but of course it doesn't matter because we're into the fourth round. That 20-point gap, I should say, only applies towards the end of the third round. Syed looking very comfortable. Being very accurate. He's landing with the knuckle part of the glove all the time on the target area, which is the head and torso. And within a second, if you recall your amateur boxing regulations, 3 of the 5 judges have got to press the relevant button, and they've been doing it pretty regularly in favour of Khalid Syed.
Yeah, Butler's looking for that left hook, Jim, but what he's doing as he's going forward, he's dropping that left hand, he's walking onto the straight right hand from Syed. There it is again, look, good 1-2.
Round the corner, he really does love those body shots, and he's used them very accurately. 21 points of a gap between them. And Syed, at 17 years of age, is going to become one of the youngest ever ABA champions in almost 120 years of the history of this illustrious tournament. 33-11. Is there more left? There certainly is. He's not going to stop until that last bell goes. Look at that gap. This has been an absolute masterclass from a masterful little teenager. There again, head and body. Butler has to cover up, but he takes a shot. And right at the end, I think Sally may well have picked up another one, and they will be so pleased with him. World Cadet champion, still a junior, and there's a lot to come from this fellow. Terrific last round from him, accurate shots going straight through the middle. Look at frustration on the face of Paul Butler, who's no mean performer himself. But what a pace Khalid Syed set off at, and he kept it up all the way through to the last bell.
You're only 17 years old, people were talking about you as a prospect for London 2012, but given the way you've transferred your form to the senior ranks, how hard will you be pushing for now for a place in Beijing?
Definitely, that's what I'm aiming for. Obviously, I'm going to aim for London 2012 because it's in our home ground, you know. I'd be proud to represent my country in my own country and have all my people around me. But Beijing's the main one. I'm going to be 19. Hopefully, if we get a medal, we might stick around till London 2012. But it depends what offers we get from the pro ranks. But you know, at the moment we are heading for Beijing and 2012 in London.
Well, that was a pretty first impressive performance for us to see. Next up, we're going to see the experienced Stuart Langley against Michael Walsh, one of 2 brothers taking part in this year's ABA finals.
Well, it simply couldn't be closer going into the last 2 minutes. The double champion, the man in blue, Stuart Langley from Hollington and London, against the man in red, Michael Walsh from Norwich, who's gradually closed the gap, and now it's back on level terms again. Walsh has never been ahead in this contest, but Langley conceded a couple of points in the second and a couple of points in the third, one for holding, one for use of the head. And is he going to concede this title? He's nicked another couple of points, so Langley is still very much there. Good footwork by Langley. Bit of a slip.
Yeah, this is turning out to be a great contest, Jim. Last couple of rounds, Walsh has boxed superbly well. His feet are very, very quick. He's moving into range, and he's catching Langley with that right hand. There it is again. He's switching downstairs. I'm impressed with Walsh. His footwork's good, and he's scoring with the shots.
Good little right hand from Walsh, but Langley's nicked another one. 3 between them, a minute to go. Remember, Walsh is the man who disposed of the defending champion, Paul Edwards. 15-11 in the semi-final. And now there's a point between them. Here comes Walsh again. Wild stuff from Langley.
There's that right uppercut again from Langley. Good variation, great shot there.
And Walsh forces a standing 8 count in the last round, and what a time to do it. And Langley under pressure now, and all of a sudden he finds himself 2 points behind, and Walsh ahead for the first time. And he's picked up another one. Just watch your head, Mr. Walsh, from the referee. Desperate times now for Langley. He must know he's behind. He's having to hold. Walsh looking very strong.
Oh, what a super shot that was. Excellent punch.
And that's the second 8 count in the last round. Remember, if there are 3 8 counts in one round, or 4 overall, it's all over. There's 20-odd seconds now. Can Langley come back? Walsh got him again with a good right hand, and he's opened up a gap of 4 points. This has been a terrific last 2 minutes from Michael Walsh. Just a little breather. 12 seconds remaining, and Langley's going to be disappointed for the second final in a row. And there's going to be delight in the Walsh household. Ryan has got to a final, Liam got to a semi, but most importantly, Michael has got a senior ABA title. Terrific performance from the 22-year-old. Disposed of the reigning champion in a semi-final, and disposed of the 2-times champion in his first senior final. Good, solid punching. That was the one that forced the first 8 count. And Walsh did not rest on any laurels. He really came steaming forward, and what a cracker that was. That was the second standing 8 count, and that really made all the difference. That ensured the title for Michael Walsh. Peach of a right hand, and that really was game over.
Michael, you just said to me you left it a little bit late to win your first ABA title. How important was belief in winning that?
More than anything in the whole world, I've wanted this more than anything I've ever wanted in my life. I've only just come back to boxing. It's only my third fight, fourth fight of the season. I've won all 4. Done everything I've had to do to win. I've been out, what, nearly a year. Couldn't have asked for anything more. I just want to thank my 2 brothers more than anything else, Liam and Ryan Walsh, for getting me back into my training and getting me training every day and making me give 110. I just can't believe I've won, to be honest with you. I left that way too late. No disrespect to Langley. I think I could have beaten him a lot easier than that. My nerves and the wanting to win so much, it's got the better of me, I think, more than anything else. Man, my legs a bit shaky at times, but you know, I just can't believe I've won. Best feeling in the world.
And we'll see his brother Ryan.
Brother Michael looking on to see if the youngster of the family, the 20-year-old Ryan, can emulate his achievement in becoming a senior ABA champion. 13 points to 10, now 13 points to 11. He leads Luke Campbell from Hull, from the St Paul's Club, the Yorkshire champion.
Better work from Campbell. He's keeping that distance. That's good stuff. That's good boxing from Campbell.
Needs to get behind that jab. There's a lovely little left hand went in for Campbell, but Walsh has kept him honest and has kept the gap. In fact, has opened the gap. 15-11 now.
A little bit surprised there. There was 2 or 3 shots from Campbell that went in that didn't score, but Walsh came back with 2 or 3 of his own. They seemed to get through, but better boxing at the start of the round.
Well, look at this. Look at this. Jeff Gibbs has given Walsh a warning, and that means 2 points under Campbell's score for a bit of holding. But that was a bit on the harsh side. Points haven't been added on. Yes, they have. So 16-13 still. Good work by Campbell. He's finding the range now. He's leaning back a little bit more, Rich, isn't he?
Yeah, that's better boxing from Campbell. He's keeping that distance, working well with the 1-2, and his right jab is starting to get through. But Campbell is full of action. He really is, Jim. Keeps coming.
Well, what's going on here? Oh, for goodness sake. Well, I think that's rather harsh. I do have to say. And remember, if he gets another in this round, that's the contest over. So that's another 2 points have been added on to Campbell's score. And look at this, Campbell on level terms for the first time since the first bell. Now, can he turn this to his advantage? 40 seconds to go. Is the Walsh family going to be denied an ABA championship double? Not if Ryan can help it, but Campbell has gone ahead for the first time. 30 seconds remaining. Well, it's tough on Walsh because 4 points have gone onto his opponent's score. Campbell now warming to this. He's really loving this.
Yeah, there's a sense of urgency about Campbell now. And he's boxing superbly well, Campbell. But Walsh, he just seems to be tiring a little bit. And Campbell, he just wants it that little bit more, Jim.
Well, Campbell has had to bide his time. Walsh was the man who was in control for most of it. 3 points between them, but 4 of Campbell's points came courtesy of referee Jeff Gibbs. I'm not altogether sure I would have agreed with that, but there you go. I'm not the man in the middle, and the man who's going to be in the middle when it comes to giving out the trophies is going to be Luke Campbell. What a last round he put in. Somewhat controversial, you will have to say. Twice his opponent was given warnings for holding, but Campbell looked certainly the more accomplished boxer. He managed to get his distance right, he managed to get his range right, he managed to keep his man away from him really for the first time since the opening bell, and he just about deserved that. There was a good little shot went in there, and again I have to say I'm not altogether sure why Walsh was given those warnings. Very, very harsh indeed. It's Campbell's doing all the throwing round there. If anything, he was the man at fault, but Campbell right at the end perhaps knew that he had got this in the bag and started to just enjoy himself. Nice footwork by Campbell right at the end, and a good right hand to finish it.
Well, another close fight saw Joe Selkirk, one of 8 Liverpool finalists, up against Mark CLOSEL, and we join it in the third.
Just a single point between them at the halfway stage of this welterweight final. 69 kilograms of division, and last year's runner-up, all in black with a bit of gold trim, Joey Selkirk from the Rotunda Club in Liverpool, was leading 10-9 against Northumbria's Mark CLOSEL, the 23-year-old, 3 years older than Selkirk. Now it's 11-9 to Selkirk. Had a very, very tough semi-final, Selkirk, and was 11-4 down going into the last round against the World Cadet Champion Anthony Agogo from the AAA club in Eastern Counties, and managed to stop him in the last round. So here he is, the man who lost to Denton Vassell last year, Selkirk. And CLOSEL is not hanging around, very aggressive, two-fisted attack, and Selkirk has done well to get off the ropes.
Yeah, CLOSEL's one of these boxers, another one of these talented lads who can box as a southpaw and orthodox, and that's confusing Selkirk a little bit. Selkirk at this stage just holding those feet just too long, and he's getting caught. CLOSEL in these early stages, he's just getting the better of things here, Jim.
CLOSEL has had a pretty good sequence to get here. Had to box twice to win the Tyne Tees and Weir title, then won against the Midlands, stopped James Jevons. And in the semi-final, stopped the Navy's David Robinson. And he's pulled it back to 12 apiece against last year's runner-up. Selkirk is an English international.
Yeah, I remember Selkirk with my time at the ABA. He always had hand problems. That was the only problem that he did have. He's susceptible to hand injuries, as most boxers are. But Selkirk, he's picked up a couple of bad injuries over the last couple of years.
Well, that was the main worry going into the semi-final, and he had to pull out some pretty hard punching. But he's passed the medical, so clearly there must be nothing wrong with his hands, and at the moment there's nothing wrong with the scoreline as far as he's concerned. Joey Selkirk just one single point up. CLOSEL still looking very dangerous indeed. Trying to move round. Good round that was for CLOSEL. He's kept the gap to one single point. 10-9 at the start of the round, 13-12 at the end of it. Selkirk being made to miss, and a lovely response by CLOSEL. 2 excellent shots in there, and good footwork by him. Got himself caught a little bit, but he really steamed forward, and Selkirk had to use that bit of extra experience, although he's the younger man, to get himself out of trouble. There's that little sequence again, left and then right by the man in blue from Northumbria, CLOSEL. A little bit of inexperience coming through, but Selkirk did well to hold on. Well, having lost to Denton Vassell last year in a very good final, Joe Selkirk in no mood to be a second successive loser. 13-12 up, the man all in black against Mark CLOSEL from Northumbria.
CLOSEL seems definitely working better, Jim, on the inside. Short to mid-range, that's his game. He's got to close that gap down and actually get to Selkirk. Selkirk got to stay on the back foot, bring him onto the shots. He's got good timing, Joey Selkirk, very skillful lad, but CLOSEL has got to get in on the inside.
Good shot by Selkirk. He's 21 years of age, remember. No Neil Perkins in this particular competition. Selkirk 14 now, 15-13 up, getting back to his orthodox boxing, just stalking his man. Nice high guard, Selkirk, really old classic style.
Yeah, he's got good skills as well, Jim. He's good on his back foot, and he's dictating the pace at this stage. Oh, that's lovely straight punching from Selkirk.
Yeah, worked very nicely behind that educated left hand and brought the right over, and he's opened up a gap of 4 points. And Selkirk within 3/4 of a minute of going one better than last year when he was beaten by Denton Bassel. Oh, good shot.
Super punch, and CLOSEL, he's waiting far too long here, Jim. He's got to get in, he's got to work. There's got to be more urgency from him, get in on the inside.
Might just be a bit tired, Richie. Well, that's the biggest gap there has been. 5-3 to Selkirk, 10-9 at the halfway stage, 13-12 going into this one, and he's outscored his man by 7 points to 1 in this last round. And this is looking good for Joey Selkirk, and he'd be so pleased, having been so disappointed last year. He's worked beautifully, and this is one of the best 2 minutes of boxing he's produced in his career. And remember, he's still just 21 years of age. He's still a fair old bit to go. Both of them tired. Selkirk's mouth open, the lip hanging down, breathing heavily, but he knows he's won it, and he'll forget all about that tiredness, because having missed out last year, Joey Selkirk has taken a title back to Liverpool, and he'll be pleased with that. Really had to work extremely hard. CLOSEL pushed him all the way, and there was never more than a couple of points in it. Indeed, 1 point between them going into the last round, and Selkirk had to produce something, and he boxed quite cleverly and very efficiently all the way through. Lovely roll there from the waist, and look at that, came out of that little clinch, delivered a sweet left hand round the corner. Just took his time, showed the man the angle, and then switched nicely, showed him the left, hit him with the right. Clever look, there's the feint, straight through, clipped his man on the chin. Nicely done, good finish.
Well, that was a pretty impressive winner, wasn't it? But interesting story about the runner-up there, Steve.
Yeah, great story, Mark CLOSEL, from a club called Northumbria. Now, Glenn McCrory, former IBF Cruiserweight champion, and very much a man about town. One day he's got...
3 gold medalists from the Melbourne Commonwealth Games were in action in these finals, and they lived up to their reputations by securing ABA titles. Stephen Smith, boxing in the black and gold of Liverpool's Rotunda Club, retained his featherweight crown by outpointing Samir Mooney from St Paul's in Hull. In a cautious tactical encounter, Smith scored well with crisp single shots, while Mooney's educated pressure kept matters close. But in trying to overhaul the points deficit in the final round, Mooney's advances were punished by Smith's slick movement and crisp counter-punching. 15-11 was the final score. Birmingham's Frankie Gavin has acquired heaps of international experience, including being honoured as the outstanding boxer at the Melbourne Commonwealth Games, and his full repertoire of skills was on display against Thomas Stalker from the St Aloysius Club in Liverpool in the lightweight final. Gavin, representing the Hall Green Club in his blue England vest, boxed beautifully off both the front and the back foot, piling up points while not allowing his taller opponent to find his rhythm. Stalker enjoyed some success with his long jab, but was outscored 20 points to 7 as Gavin earned his first ABA title. The super heavyweight final featured over 13 feet of fight as the 6'7" David Price tackled the 6'6" Tom Dallas. Price in the red head guard came out blazing and scored well with long lefts and straight rights, and then began to vary his punches, the uppercut in particular proving to be an effective weapon. Price romped to a 3rd ABA title for Liverpool Salisbury Club, while the Game Dallas earned a 2nd successive runner-up trophy for the honour roll of the St Mary's Club in Kent.
Well, we'll see more action from Bethnal Greenwich the 2nd, but a week ago...
The man in blue, George Grosz, who's 7-2 up in this middleweight final, has had to box no fewer than 7 times to get here. Of course, he's comes from London, which is pretty busy. He's got to get through all the divisions, but most significantly, the main scalp that he's taken so far has been that of one James DeGale, the reigning champion and the Commonwealth Games representative. And Grosz is all action, no nonsense. And the man he's in against in red, Marlon Reid from Walcott Boys, is a pretty useful boxer himself, a lot of skill, but it's the sheer power and aggression and buzzsaw non-stop action from Grosz that has taken him to this final, and may well, it looks at this stage, 14-2 up, may well be taking him to the title. He doesn't hang about, does he?
No, he doesn't. He's got great skills, Grosz. He really has. He's very relaxed the way he throws his shots. Great. He works from different angles, great variation. But it just impresses me, Jim, the way he seems to throw his punches effortlessly. He really does.
Bobs and weaves, and what he's done so far is he's taken away all the height and reach advantage that's being enjoyed by Marlon Reid, and Reid really has been a wee bit on the tentative side, and Grosz certainly can take a good shot. He doesn't seem to be bothered at all by anything that's been thrown his way, and Reid has only managed to impress the judges on 2 occasions. And remember, you've got to land with that knuckle part of the glove. That's the bit picked out in white on the target area. That's the head and torso, and within a second 3 of the 5 judges have got to press the appropriate button, and so far it's all blue. Oh, terrific two-fisted attack. 19-2 now. He's actually threatening to end this by the halfway stage. If a gap opens up by the end of the third of 20 points, and there's 17 between them, this would be a remarkable final if Grosz could achieve that. He'd settle, I'm sure, for the title no matter how it came, but he's looking so impressive. Taking his time, looks like the job's done at the halfway stage.
Yeah, super stuff from Grosz, with 3 or 4 punches in that combination. Excellent stuff.
Well, I'm not saying you can hand the title to him at this stage, but it's very close. Never let his man off the hook, and there was that excellent little sequence. He has his chin up in the air a little bit, Grosz, and somebody with a bit more experience than Marlon Reid might be able to exploit that. But when you get a man who's swarming all over you like a nasty rash, there's very little you can do. In and out again, just moved nicely and gave himself a little bit of room, and that last right hand was a gem. Well, 19 points to 3 up at the halfway stage to the man in blue, George Grosz from the Dale Youth Club. Great boxing club. And of course, it was his fellow Dale Youth member, James DeGale, the reigning champion, that Grosz picked. And here he is now in the final and is about to take over the mantle of James DeGale. And he's only 18 years of age, Rich. He's quite a prospect.
Yeah, he very much is so. And the thing is there, Jim, I mean, many people considered that the final, didn't they, Grosz and DeGale, because that was a super contest, it really was. But Grosz got the better of things, and here he's boxing superbly well. Reid, he's got the problem, he's falling short with his shots. He keeps falling short with that left hand, and his left hand is so low, he's just open for the right hand over the top, and that's the punch that Grosz has had a lot of success with.
Well, Reid has done particularly well to stay on his feet, because Grosz is a bit of a banger. He won his London title by stopping international Ryan Pickard. His quarter-final, he beat St George's Anthony Johnson in the third, and the semi-final he stopped the Army's Jay Summers in the second. But here we are in the third, and it's well, the score hasn't moved on all that desperately much. Grosz, I think, may feel that he's got the title in the bag, and he put so much into the first 2 rounds, the second especially. And is there a chance now for Marlon Reid from Walcott to come back?
The Grosz has just slowed down a little bit here, and that's suiting Reid. He can now start landing with his jab, and that was a good right hand from Reid there. Grosz has got to keep foot on the gas here, Jim.
Yeah, but there's a huge gap, Richie. I mean, it's still well within Grosz's capabilities of ending this contest by the end of the third if he scores another 2 points without reply, because that'll be the 20-point gap. And he's quite happy now to retreat. And that's the first time we've actually seen him taking a backward step.
Yeah, he's enjoying himself, isn't he? Reid's looking to land. Reid has got to show more urgency here. He's well behind, starting to land with a couple of good shots, but Grosz still well in control.
Well, you would have put your money on this being over by the time that bell went, because the man in blue was leading by 22 points to, or 19 points to 2, I should say, at the start of the round, and I don't think there's any doubt as to who's going to win this contest. Marlon Reid has an awful lot to do, but I don't think he's good enough to overhaul George Grosz.
George, congratulations, an ABA title in your first senior season. How do you rate your performance tonight?
Very good. There was obviously a few things that coach will discuss later about how we can improve, but other than that, I think I've done really well, considering my opponent was a very skillful, unorthodox fighter. He moves around the ring and knew how to cut the ring off well without getting caught myself, because he threw shots from awkward angles that you don't really see. So I'm glad today, I was so far ahead on points. It wasn't brute strength that won me this ABA title, it was my boxing skills. I suppose that's why I've been winning as a junior, which you need your skills, because some of the bouts are just strong juniors, and then they're saying, oh, you're making that transition from junior to senior, and am I going to be able to do it? It's like a man and a boy, but I think I've proved a few doubters wrong tonight and throughout the whole ABA Championship.
He sure has. That's an 18-year-old with a really big future. And now here's a 17-year-old who promises so much. This is Obed Mwakongo, and he's in the light heavyweight division.
Well, there's 10 years between these two, but there's not a single point between them. The man in the white vest trimmed with red, Joey Ainscough from Liverpool, from the Kirkdale club. Last year's runner-up has just conceded the opening point of the second round to the teenager Obed Mwakongo from the famous Fisher Club. World Cadet bronze medalist and World Junior bronze medalist, only 17 years of age, tall and rangy, and is boxing very nicely indeed. Ainscough, who was the champion in 1999 incidentally, and then had a bit of a brief flirtation with the professional game before being reinstated as an amateur, was the runner-up last year to Tony Jeffries of Sunderland. But there's a gap now of 3 points has been opened up, and this fellow Mwakongo looks as if he might actually even move up to the heavyweight division. He's a big fellow, he's got a fair old undercarriage on him there, Richie, but more importantly, he's forced a standing 8 count against the much more experienced man, and he's been pretty impressive.
Yeah, I have been impressed with Mwakongo. His style is just tailor-made for this scoring system. He's tall, he's rangy, he's an in-and-out boxer, he's a hit and mover, he's got good variation, he's very, very relaxed. And as I say, Jim, for this scoring system, he's got the perfect style.
Well, his coach Steve Hisser will be pretty pleased with him. 3 apiece at the start of this round, and he's opened up a gap of 2 points. Good footwork by the youngster. Ainscough rough and tough, and really moves in straight lines, comes forward in straight lines and moves back in straight lines. Not the most difficult man in the world to actually catch, but there's a wealth of difference in terms of age and experience. But the youngster all in black is making light of both. Good shot.
Yeah, good boxing again from Mwakongo. What Ainscough got to do here, Jim, he's got to start feinting to the head, switch the attack downstairs, that right hand, and then the left up to the head to follow, switching the attack. But he's just falling short, he just fell short with another right hand there. Mwakongo, he's got the movement, and that's troubling Ainscough at this stage.
He's winning this round by 7 points to 3, 3 apiece at the start of it. And Mwakongo is doing very nicely. Ainscough trying to get inside him, and
well, that's where he's got to be working, Ainscough, on that inside, but he's not doing that.
Using all those physical advantages. A little bit wild there, but that last left hand was a belter, and then he followed it straight up with a lovely short little left right into the face of his opponent. So he's learning all the time. Look at that, right through the middle. And that face of Ainscough, which is I think testimony to the fact that he's been round a corner or two and in a ring a time or two, is getting himself caught yet again, and that won't do those rugged features of his any good whatsoever. Good work by the teenager. So the world bronze medalist box like it. Well, he certainly is at the moment. First senior year, and not too far away from picking up his first senior title. 10-6 to Obed Mwakongo from the Fisher Amateur Boxing Club. Great club in Bermondsey. 10-6 up against Joey Ainscough.
And why he's so successful, Mwakongo, here, he's working from the centre of the ring. He boxes in the spaces, he stays off the ropes and out of the corners. He knows that he's boxing to his strength. He's boxing mid to long range, very clean puncher, and he's a diamond for the judges, you see, to score those shots. It's very, very easy because it's so clean.
Just watch the head from referee Jack Goodman to Joey Ainscough, represented England in the 2006 Four Nations tournament. Was beaten by the outstanding Irishman Kenny Egan, 32-12. And at the moment, he's been given a bit of a boxing lesson by this teenager. He simply can't get to him. Lovely footwork from Mwakongo, who's opened up a gap now in the midway stage of the third round. 6 points between them. Little switch there. He's enjoying himself. Ainscough's pulled one back.
Ainscough's got to be quick with those feet, Jim. He's got to nail his man on the ropes, sustain the attacks, and start doubling up the attacks. He's falling short because his feet are too slow, and he's allowing Mwakongo just to move away, and Mwakongo's bringing him onto the shots.
Slicing right hand there, a little bit of old showboating. He's enjoying himself now, the youngster. Lovely footwork, stepped to the side and used those big long arms of his. 6 points now, and this is looking more and more like a title for the teenager.
Lovely right hand again there from Wakongo. See, Ainscough is waiting far too long.
There's that right again, showed him the left, and the left hand of Ainscough was nowhere to be seen. Got himself caught quite severely. Good footwork by Wakongo. Gap now of 8 points opened up, looking more and more comfortable all the time. 9 points between them, and Wakongo at 17 years of age, again incurring the wrath of the referee, Jack Goodman, but that's not going to bother him too much because he's put himself into a very, very comfortable position with 2 more minutes to go.
Well, you won't be surprised to learn that he had a pretty emphatic victory at the end of all that. It could have been your brother in there, couldn't it?
Yeah, my younger.
29.
Two boxers with high hopes for the Beijing Olympics met in a light welterweight final as Bradley Saunders from South Durham battled Nathan Brough of the St Aloysius Club in Liverpool. Brough had boxed superbly to beat reigning champ Jamie Cox in the semi-final, but failed to find his groove here. But the superb boxing of Saunders was responsible for that, as he danced and darted inside the long arms of Brough to score freely with the left hand. Brough became increasingly frustrated as he fell further behind and was ultimately disqualified for receiving 3 public warnings. A runner-up in the 2005 heavyweight final, John Lewis Dickinson slimmed down to claim the cruiserweight title, the weight class being reintroduced after a 4-year absence. Dickinson, boxing in the white vest for Newcastle's Birtley club, used straight shots and lateral movement to steadily accumulate points against Kingfisher's Mark Redhead and prevailed with a 16 points to 10 victory.
So just one more piece of action to show you, and this is in the heavyweight division where Danny Price was up against Liverpool's Tony Pell. And I tell you, this was a real grudge fight. Watch this.
We haven't had quite the fireworks that we've been expecting from this much-awaited contest between the top 2 91-kilogram boxers, the heavyweights in England. Tony Bellew, the 3 times champion, all in black, the Liverpudlian, against the Commonwealth Games representative, Danny Price. Has been very cautious by the man who calls himself the Bomber, Tony Bellew. And although he tends to be a little bit right-hand heavy, he hasn't really tried to throw that too much. But he's ahead, and that, I think, is what counts. They've been talking a lot, and Bellew in particular, in his own particular style, has been saying, I'm going to win this, I'm going to win this. Price has got him back to level terms. There was nothing in it. 2-1 to Bellew at the end of the first, 3-2 at the start of the third, and Price has leveled it up. Price looking very confident. Lovely stiff jab by Price. Now, did that score? Well, that's a bit of a surprise.
Yeah, throughout this contest there's been a few punches thrown and they haven't been registered by the judges. A little bit surprising, but this has turned out to be a real tactical battle. Many people thought it was going to be explosive, but it hasn't been that way. It's been more a game of physical chess, this one. Very, very surprising. But Price at this stage, he's just looking more urgent for me. There's a sense of urgency about his work. He knows he's got to win this contest, and it's turning out to be an interesting one, Jim.
Well, Bellew, of course, very disappointed that he didn't get the nod to go to the Melbourne Commonwealth Games, and I think his concerns were aggravated even more by the fact that Price went out in his opening contest to Bradley Pitt from Australia. To be fair, though, Pitt went on to be a very worthy gold medal winner, so that puts Price's defeat into a bit of perspective. That's a good jab by Price, and he's gone ahead by a single point for the first time in this contest, coming up to the end of the round. Bellew again looking for that big right hand, and Price's defense has been very good. Bellew may just have tagged him, and he has done, and it's all square. The lowest scoring contest of the evening so far, but I have to say it's been a fascinating contest all the way through.
Backhand's getting through. You know you can do it. Backhand, left hook. He's going to come like a train this round, okay?
Well, interesting spectator, more than interesting spectator. Terry Edwards, who's been the senior coach for the English team and the Great Britain team for a year or two. Tony Bellew, 3 times champion at this weight, but this one, if he could win it, especially against a man he's been dying to get in against, would mean more than the other 3 put together, I'm quite sure. Price wearing his England vest from a a Four Nations tournament in Liverpool, just I think maybe just to aggravate Tony Bellew a little bit, who knows. Last bit of advice to Bellew as he comes out. So 2 more minutes to decide the 119th ABA heavyweight title, and more importantly, the All-England bragging rights in the 91 kilogram division, 4 apiece. Fascinating contest, Richie, not panning out the way everybody expected.
No, certainly isn't, and Price is boxing pretty well here. He's looking to land that backhand himself, working with the jab, and Tony Bellew, as always, looking to land the big right hand. There it is again, that was a good shot. But Price, fair play to him, he's coming back at Tony Bellew.
Well, that didn't score, amazingly. Here comes Price again. Bellew in a bit of a corner now. Price just steps back and wants his man to come to him. He's much better on the back foot, Price, than Bellew is. Just over a minute to go. Little two-fisted attack by Price. Good footwork by Bellew. And Bellew comes out the better of the two. Good scoring shot by the Liverpudlian on the retreat. Turned his man nicely. There's a good left went in by Bellew. No reward for that. And again, slicing right hand.
No, that was a great right hand, wasn't it? But again, it didn't score.
Well, maybe they felt it wasn't delivered correctly. It was more of a cuff, but I thought it wasn't bad. There's another one. And Price has leveled it up. And eventually Bellew gets the point for that one. Good little exchange, and Bellew with what, 30-odd seconds to go. Looking for his 4th title, looking for victory over the man who he feels has overshadowed him very slightly in terms of international selection. What Bellew has to do now is hold on for less than 30 seconds. Price must know that he's behind, so Price has to be the aggressor here, and he comes forward, right hand by Price. That's leveled it up. Remember, if it's level at the end, it goes to count back, which means that the top and bottom judges' scores are discarded and all the other 3 individual scores are added up. But somebody may just have the wherewithal to obviate that situation, and here they come again. Price looking menacing, little stiff jab. Did that score? It did, and he gets him again with the left hand. Price has opened up a gap of 2 points, and Bellew has let it go, and Price has taken it. A couple of shots went in earlier in the round, which I think would have benefited Tony Bellew, but they weren't scored, and Bellew will be mightily disappointed. And Price takes his 1st title at the expense of the man who's taken 3 titles in previous years. What a finish by Price. He bided his time. His work was perhaps the crisper. Bellew still going for the big right hand, but Bellew boxed technically as well as I've seen him for quite some time. The lowest scoring contest of the evening, but in terms of what was at stake and what it meant to both, an absolutely fascinating 4 rounds of heavyweight boxing. Right at the end, Price simply knew that he had to pick up a point or 2. There was that left hand, went straight in. Bellew may well just have got him with one right at the end, and Price had to put everything into the last 10 seconds. It couldn't have been closer, and if you're going to win something, you win it right at the end. Bellew swinging. Price didn't land with that one, but he picked up a couple of points somewhere along the line to take the title.
Danny, congratulations to the ABA champion. You pulled it out in the last 10 seconds. How pleased are you with that win here tonight?
Really pleased, really pleased. I've never wanted something so bad in my life. I felt like crying in the training room, just wanted it so bad. To beat Tony, he's won 3 ABAs, which is unbelievable for an heavyweight. It just makes it all the more better.
Tony, you're clearly disappointed. Your run of ABA championships coming to an end, but you appear to be looking for the knockout rather than using the box ability we know that you have. How much did your heart rule your head tonight?
Yeah, to be honest, I wasn't looking for the knockout. I was trying to counter what Danny throws, you know. Danny's a very, very good on the back foot fighter, and I give him respect, you know. If I would have went at him at guns blazing, it would have been an easy fight for Danny, but, you know, my plan was to bring Danny to me. And if you watch the fight, it worked for 3 rounds. I mean, the last round there, he pulled it out with 10 seconds to go, and all credit to him.